Apparently I'm live. Hello, YouTube. Let's see. All right, I am doing this private so that I can just upload it quickly. So I'm not quite ready to do the live yet. I'm chicken. Anyway, hi everybody who watches this. Thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and for hanging in there with me. This is Wendy Lou with Parenting Through Ascension. If you're watching me on Higher Self, I urge you to go check out my other videos. If they resonate with you, hit that subscribe, share, whatever, however the spirit moves you. And so if you gathered from the title, which may be a little cryptic, to be a vegan or not to be a vegan, just something, we all know that there's, if you're watching this video, likely you know that there's a big split happening on our planet. There are people who are splitting, and really I see it as three splits. That's just what resonates with me. There's a split. We're in 5D. There's a split between the 5D positive and the 5D negative. And then there's a split where there are some people staying in 3D. And so we're splitting in three different directions. And so you start to see it. It becomes very blatant, very obvious. The people who, are still gobbling up anything and everything from the mainstream media and believing all of it. No judgment. I'm just saying those people, they're either going 5D negative or they're staying in 3D. 5D positive timeline is my choice. And there is no fake news media in positive 5D. But what I've noticed is there is even a split going on. And of course, this was foretold, right? Everybody said that it would happen. There is a split going on among light workers, way showers. And like I said, obviously, it had to happen. And not that one's good, one's bad. I'm just saying I've noticed that there's a pretty obvious difference between certain way showers now, and there is a split happening. And what I've noticed is the one group is heading down this path where they are talking about you have to eat vegan to ascend. You have to, you can't swear, no cussing allowed in 5D apparently. To ascend, you can't eat low vibrational foods. You can't drink alcohol because that lowers your vibration. You can't continue in your previous job because it's low vibration. All these rules, right? All these rules to ascension. And again, I'm not judging because I know that it's serving a purpose for some people. And maybe it did for me even at one time. But the other group is kind of the group that I'm finding myself in. And if it resonates with you, maybe that's the group you're in too. And again, it's okay to be in one group or the other. This is not, neither group is good or bad. I just thought it was an interesting thing that I was noticing. And so this group I find myself in is more of the, words, yes, are very powerful, but we can change the meaning of words by the way we use them. We can change the words that have been perceived as cuss words, as low vibrational words, and we can turn them to our advantage and we can use them. For me, I swear in order to enhance a passionate statement, or in order to enhance just trying to really get you to feel what I'm feeling. Okay, that's when I'll use a swear word. I don't use them in a negative way. I don't use them to cut people down. I don't use them to diminish anyone. And so I really think, and I had just listened to a video this morning, and that's what prompted this. And I actually had written some stuff down last night that was kind of along the same lines, and then listening to a video this morning of somebody that I really respect and still respect, but she is definitely in that group that you shouldn't swear. And you'll never hear me swearing, she said. You shouldn't swear because that's low vibrational, and the words were created to lower your vibration. Does that matter anymore? That shouldn't matter anymore. If you're using these words in a positive way and it resonates with you like it does with me, then I say go for it. And so this group that I find myself in, we swear, and with the food thing is huge right now, right? Um, this is what resonates with me. I'm not here to tell you what is right or wrong for you, but this is what resonates with me. You do not have to change the way you eat to ascend. You do not have to be a vegan to ascend. There are people who have been vegan their whole lives, and upon embarking on this ascension journey, are now finding that their bodies want meat. Their bodies want animal products. And I keep hitting my desk, sorry, which I think is really interesting. Now, for me personally, I've always eaten red meat, and my body doesn't want red meat anymore. But the other meats are fine. But for right now, my body is saying, no, no, we don't want any red meat. And I'm listening to my body. But I do not judge people who are continuing to eat McDonald's and Starbucks. I don't personally do that because I just don't feel good when I do. And that's my journey. But you do not have to eat the way I do in order to ascend. And anybody who tries to tell you, oh, this is exactly the way you need to eat to ascend, that's their own stuff. Okay. Again, my perception, my perspective of this whole issue. So, whatever resonates with you. In short, what I'm trying to tell you is you have to go in and decide what really feels true to you. Don't let any way shower, light worker, guru, teacher, healer, don't let anybody else tell you what box you need to fit yourself in order to ascend. We are leaving those boxes behind. Those boxes represent limiting belief systems. And I, for one, am not going to jump from one to another. And so we're getting out of those boxes, right? There are no more boxes. Everybody's got their own truth. And your journey is not going to fit neatly inside the box of someone else's. It just won't. That's called religion, trying to do that, okay? Trying to mold and to warp your personal beliefs so that you can be part of this group that tells you what to believe. It's just not healthy for anybody. So we all have to have our own truth and be in touch with that, okay? So if you get anything ever from me, and I admit I probably, because I've been doing videos for over a year now, or about a year now, I probably maybe even sounded like that in some of my initial videos. And that's where I was at on my journey, okay? And hopefully it resonated and triggered and helped someone. Okay, it's all serving a purpose. But what I will tell you is I know that true way showers, true light workers who are out here sharing our stories, who are on YouTube, who are on Facebook, who are speaking live, who are doing all these amazing things, who have websites, all of us are sharing not to tell you how to do it, but to remind you that you're not alone. B, to share it just for our own sanity, because that's what we came here to do. And if we don't, for me as a writer, I know when I have a story, brewing in my mind, if I don't write it down, it will not leave me alone. And so the same goes with these divine nuggets of wisdom or messages that I am led to get out there, like this one led to make a video about that, if I don't get it, if I don't do something with it, if I don't project it in some way, if I don't get it out there, then it's going to pester me and drive me crazy and keep me awake at night. And so that's another reason we do it, which is, selfish, but it's for our own soul growth. But we also do it to give others hope that what we've been through is not exactly what you've been through, but it may be pretty even on the awful scale. And you are able to see that there is life after these things, after life, after trauma, life after dark nights of the soul. We do come out of these things. And so we're not out here to tell you, hey, this is how I see the world. This is how I see this process. You need to see it exactly the same way. Absolutely not. I've always resonated with the statement that there are as many different ways to ascend as there are souls ascending. Okay, everybody's going to do it in their own unique way. Many of them may look similar, but they're not going to be exactly the same. And that's going to be your soul groups. We're going to do a lot of it the same way. And so, yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to say. Let me look at my notes. And so I promise you, I will never, don't ever think that I am telling you my experiences should be yours. And if you're not experiencing the same things I'm experiencing, that you're doing something wrong. We cannot screw this up at this point. Okay. If you're watching this video, if you're still watching, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate it. But if you're even drawn to watch this video and other videos like mine, then you are on this journey, and you need to know that you're going to do it your own special way. And don't ever let me tell you, don't ever think that I'm trying to tell you how to do it, and don't ever think that you are doing anything wrong. This whole thing where I used to dwell on things, like when I would have a breakthrough, I would then go back, and I would go backwards, and I would regress, and I would dwell on, well, God, this is what I finally did in order to break through this. If I'd only done that a week earlier, I could have avoided maybe this certain trauma. That is not helping anybody. That is not serving you. It didn't serve me. I had to learn to break out of that pattern of evaluating. And that's kind of honestly, that's kind of a military thing that was drilled into me. Is they call it an after actions report, where after it's all said and done, you sit down and you write down everything you fucked up, right? Everything you screwed up, so that the next person doesn't make the same mistakes. And so it's a kind of it's a regressive dwelling that doesn't do you any good. And so I try not to do that anymore. When I feel myself falling into that, I just push through, and I focus on moving forward, because it's not helping you at all to think, oh, well, I screwed up in that way. Because yeah, and you can think of it in a way that, oh, well, okay, so maybe I can avoid that mistake in the future. But it really doesn't work that way, because as we move forward, you have no idea what the next step is going to look like. I promise you, you do not know what the next step is going to look like. You may have an idea of how it's going to feel. You may have an idea of what your passion is and what you want to happen, but that doesn't mean you're going to know exactly what it looks like. And we need to let go of these expectations of, I need this to happen and I need this to happen because I want this. If you just focus on how you want to feel on a day-to-day basis, everything is going to fall into place. And this is a huge law of attraction teaching, right? That don't marry yourself to exactly what you want to happen, but attach instead to the emotion that you want to feel. Do you want to just feel joy and bliss? Well, focus on that. And then in every moment, do go in that direction. Okay. And, if you have a decision in front of you, which one makes you feel better? Go that way. Go that way. Okay. So we cannot screw this up. We're too far along. We're too far along to screw it up now. There's no turning back. You can resist every step of the way. You're still going to get there. It's going to suck. But you're going to get there, because it's happening for us. It is happening on the planet. And if you have chosen to go into 5D, especially the 5D positive, then you're on the train. We're not going to throw you off, I promise. We're not going to throw you off just because you're sleeping through the whole ride. You will evolve and do all your work in your sleep. And it's not going to be a whole lot of fun if you do it that way, but it's going to happen. Okay, as long as you've chosen that destination, then you're on the train, I promise. And so, yes. And so dwelling on this whole, oh, if only I had done it a week earlier, that's everything is happening exactly when it's supposed to happen, exactly when you're ready for it to happen. It's not going to happen before that. Okay. And so to think that, oh, if only I'd done this a week before, but you didn't. Okay. You didn't for a reason, because possibly this trauma you think that you could have avoided is exactly what you needed to really push you through. Okay, and maybe if you'd done it a week earlier, it would have maybe caused you to go astray for a week or whatever. And so you have to think of it as it's all happening in your highest good, exactly the way you chose it. Okay, we all chose this. We all sat down and we wrote down everything that we wanted to accomplish in this life, all this soul growth we wanted. Now, yes, we have free will, and we can change what we agreed to experience. But even then, I believe it has to be on the soul level, these decisions to change what we're going to do. Your soul has to sign off on it, in a manner of speaking. It has to be signed off in triplicate, right? And submitted in a timely fashion. But it has to be on the soul level that these decisions are made. And so even if it's a last minute decision, right, our soul is here. Like I heard once that our soul is not actually, we're not trying to fit the soul inside these physical bodies. We are actually just finally becoming aware that we are physical bodies within our soul. And I kind of liked that. That resonated with me. It feels better. It feels freer to me to think of it that way, rather than trying to stuff something inside a package that isn't really made, that was never really made for what we're trying to make it do, right? Not in its current form anyway. And so you probably needed that trauma to get you to where you are. It pushed you farther. Think of it that way. So everything is happening in your highest good. But, again, the free will thing, sure, change what, you can change the contract, but your soul has to agree. And of course, if your soul isn't in agreement, then it won't happen, right? Because we are emanations, we are avatars of our soul. Okay, so let's see. It's all perfect. The biggest block we have as a collective evolving consciousness is thinking we're screwing it up. And that's the intuition that I have received very recently. Like that seems to be what is holding the majority of the people, or giving them the illusion that they're stuck or holding or being held back, when really we're all moving forward. But it is a big barrier for us, where we beat ourselves up for not doing something right, for not learning to meditate sooner, for not getting into essential oils sooner, for not, oh, why didn't I buy that crystal sooner because it made such a big difference? Why didn't I do that healing sooner because it made such a big difference? We have to move past that. We have to move past that and realize that all that crap happened for a reason, to get us, I think, to get us to that. I always talk about in Mario Kart, if you play Mario Kart, those little strips that if you hit them, they make you speed up. They give you they launch you right really fast. Those traumas that we're kind of perceiving as blocks are really just kind of helping us aim to get on those tracks, so that when we get through, we go, we make a quantum leap instead of just, maybe it would have been a shorter, or a shorter, if, because we're still kind of stuck in linear time, but it would have been a shorter push through. Excuse me. And so that's the biggest block I perceive right now. And we have to remember that we asked for all of this. We asked for every experience, for every moment. And, I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear and to wrap their brains around. I do have people I love who have lost loved ones to suicide and to sickness. And, you can't tell them, and it's not fair. It's not fair to tell them, oh, well, they chose it. That's not fair at all, and that doesn't help anybody either. Even though it's the truth, it's not what they need to hear in their journeys. Okay, at least not yet. But they did ultimately, these souls, it's what they chose. And I used to think that suicide was not part of the contract, right? That, oh, it's a breach of contract and they have to come right back in. It doesn't really resonate with me anymore. I do believe that that it is always an option at certain times in our contracts. For those of us who've had a tough run, right? It's always an option. And if you choose it, then you choose it. And you go back to the, to source, and you choose your next adventure. Well, do you still want to go back and try to learn that, lesson? Or are you good? Or do you just want to move on? And so we get to make those decisions when we're back in our soul, when we're back one with source. Alarm. And so, you're not going to find me telling people who've lost loved ones that, oh, well, that's what they chose, because that's just not cool. We cannot choose differently for someone else. Let's remember that. Process that as deep as you can. You cannot choose a different path for someone else. Okay, you can't. You can't guide them to go a different way than what they've chosen. You just can't. You can only guide your own path. You can only discover and remember your own path. You can't do that for anyone else. They have to do that on their own. You can't, because if you see a path, someone you love, let's say you see them coming to something that will not be fun for them, and you want to save them from that. That's what they chose. They want to learn that lesson. Let them love them, support them, do what you can in that realm, but do not interfere with what they have chosen and what they want to experience. Okay. And I know as a mother, that is really hard, really, really hard, but we have to. And of course, I'm not saying don't ever help. Don't twist my words. I don't want any comments saying, oh, she said, don't, just let it happen. And in a way, yes, let it happen. My husband and I are firm believers in letting our children make their own mistakes. As long as they're not in any physical danger, right? As long as they're not in physical danger, then we want them to experience these things. And we want to be their soft place to fall when they need it. We can't talk them out of things. We could, and then they would blame us and resent us for them never taking that leap of faith, right? So you have to let them experience things. We can alter our own path. We have free will, but even doing that requires agreement of our soul. I already went through that. And the food thing, to get back to the title of the video, right? The to be vegan or not to be vegan. I think I'm funny, so just go with it. The food thing, seriously though, I see this split, and the food thing is one of the biggest topics, right? You have to be vegan, and then this other side, oh no, it's whoever. I definitely find myself in this group that is saying, whatever resonates with you, listen to your body. Your body knows what it needs. Your body knows what it wants, and for this process to work, right? And if you have found that you're not changing the way you eat at all, great. Like if you're listening to your body, fabulous. But if you know deep down that you need to make changes and you just haven't yet, then that is up to you to decide. Go in and figure that out. But don't try to do, and maybe somebody else out there can give you some general guidance, but don't try to follow exactly what someone else has done unless it resonates with you. Okay. And at some point, you're going to create your own experience around that. And so this split has been interesting to watch. From my perspective, you can be a total carnivore. You're still going to ascend, I promise, if that's what you've chosen. And think of it this way. For me, anyway, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you all are, but for me, I also believe in this benevolent alien presence that is helping us. I absolutely believe that there are, unlimited number of other beings out there on other planets. There are an unlimited number of galaxies. For us to think that we're it is the pinnacle of ridiculousness, in my opinion. There are other beings out there, and I believe that some have come to help. I also believe that some have been here that have been hindering our path, which is why the helpers have come. All right. But if you think of it this way, that we all have this soul family that we have come from, we all have star family. That's what I'm trying to say. We know we have soul family, right? But we all have star families, meaning that for many of us, our souls are not earthborn. We were born as corporeal beings. We were born, or as our souls, we were born on other planets. And that's where we originally are from. And so if you think of it this way, that if we really are from all these different races of beings, from all these different planets, different galaxies, then doesn't it make sense that our bodies would want different things? Like if we're from, if you're from a largely aquatic planet, and you were even like a water creature, then you're going to be drawn to seafood and these things. If you're from, a planet that just did not eat any meat, then of course your body is going to want to be vegan. Okay. But if you're from a planet that there was this, like Earth, there was this circle of life. And if you look in the animal kingdom, it exists there. We don't have to remove ourselves from that. We're part of that circle of life. Everything in the animal planet pretty much eats everything, eats each other. So we're just part of that because we're on the planet. But, if you're from a planet like that or from the Earth, then your body's going to want a variety of things, including meat and, other animal products, but also fruits and vegetables and all that sort of thing. So I really feel like we have to stop telling people the rules of Ascension. There aren't any rules. There are no rules. You're going to have your own way. You need to listen to your body, eat what it wants. Listen to your mind, do what it needs when you need to do it. Meditation, shadow work. And that's of course our spiritual side too. We just need to be in touch with our own intuition, our own higher selves, our own souls, and know when we need to make changes in our lives. Okay. And, like I said, for me, I've eaten red meat my whole life, and I've had to make quite a few changes, actually. I also, growing up in the Midwest, we ate a lot of carbs, a lot of corn and potatoes. My body no longer wants those things. It does not want beef. It doesn't want corn. It doesn't want potatoes. And I will tell you, I don't miss them at all. And like I said, then I've heard of people who have been vegan for years, decades, and now are like, my body wants meat and I don't know what to do about it. Give it meat, give it humanely raised, happy cows, give it happy, very responsibly grown meat. And let's see, so the whole food thing is just kind of funny. And like I said, if you need your Starbucks every day, you need your Starbucks every day, go for it. I'm not going to judge you. For me, it just was affecting me physically. My body was like, no, we don't want that anymore. And I had to listen. I had to listen because it was really rebelling hard. And I didn't want to make the change, but it forced me to. And now that I have, I feel great. And so I know that I made the right choice for me. But I will never tell you, you need to do that too. Oh, everybody needs to give up red meat because Wendy can't tolerate it anymore. That's ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And so don't, try not to buy into that, unless it's something that you need to hear. Maybe, and I do believe that this other group is like, everybody's serving a purpose. Everybody is triggering each other in the most perfect way. It's all perfection, because we are really coming into this grand symbiosis. Like, we could not be more connected than we've not been more connected than we are right now, and becoming more aware of it. And so it'll create conflict initially because we're not used to that feeling, right? It feels very weird, but in reality, we're actually just getting deeper and deeper and deeper connected with each other. And so that's why these groups are emerging, and these, we're finding our soul families, we're finding our groups. And so find your soul family. Even within your soul family, you may not, eat the same things or whatever, or you may have somebody in your soul family who doesn't swear, whatever. I am all for swearing. Fuck yeah. So one side is preaching the love and light to all creatures, stop eating animal products, stop eating processed food. And granted, that processed food is not good for our bodies. However, having said that, it's not good for my body. My body does not like it. There are people who, just because they don't think about it, they don't have a fear of it, it does not negatively affect them. They're getting the nutrients they need, and the rest they're flushing out, whatever. And so, everybody has that friend, right? That they're eternally healthy and they eat McDonald's and Starbucks every day. There are people like that, okay? Their bodies can just process it. Mine couldn't, personally. And so don't think of it as low vibrational food. Just think of it as a food that your body maybe does not want, okay? It just doesn't want it, okay? Let's see. Yes, and the side that I'm in, I'm just looking at my notes. I apologize. Make sure I cover everything. The group that I find myself in is really just saying, fuck it. Do what calls you. Do what feeds your soul, and feed your body what feeds your soul. Okay. And swear if you want to swear, and, feel, if you find, and I have found myself in this position often when there is like a full moon. And everybody's out there saying, oh, this is what the full moon's going to bring. And I am feeling the total opposite. Anybody else? That's okay. I used to be like, oh God, I'm doing something wrong because I'm not feeling the same way. I don't understand what's going on. And I know now it's because it's such a unique experience, you guys. And we chose this on purpose. If we were all having the exact same experience, how freaking boring would that be? And so I know now that it's not a big deal. It's not only not a big deal, but it's my personal journey, and I get to feel exactly the way I feel, and I get to honor that. Okay, so eat what you want. We're all ascending. Get my notes here. Yeah, and it's not always about people who eat what some people might think of as low vibrational food. I've had people say, oh, well, they just have to work through that. That's one of their, maybe they don't. Maybe it's not always something that needs to be healed. It's if it's triggering you, then figure out why it's triggering you, but let other people do what they're going to do. Okay. And ultimately, we're all getting there. We're all getting there together. Like I said, we're on the train. The people who are driving the train and the people who are asleep the whole time. Another form of asleep, not asleep like, like they've been asleep, like we all were asleep. So let's see. This ascension is not something we are necessarily facilitating. We really are just kind of along for the ride because it's happening on such a grand scale. We almost just kind of find ourselves as these microbial beings on the back of a creature, right? That's on its journey. And so we're feeling this energy, we're experiencing this energy, and we're growing too. You go up high enough towards source, and of course, it's all for our soul growth and it's all for our experiencing ourselves. But essentially, in this reality that we're in right now, in this linear timeline, we're really just the fly on the camel's back, and we just have to kind of go with the flow because it's happening, whether we want it to or not. And we can jump off. We can jump off the camel, or we can just ride the waves. And so, let's see. Oh, that's about linear time. I'll do another video on that. I think I've probably babbled on enough. So the food thing really becomes a non-issue. I'm going to read these notes because I kind of channeled this last night. Because you see, as we expand our collective consciousness, we create a better world for us to have our unique individual chosen experiences in. And as the world becomes a better place, we are able to expand our consciousness. You see that? How it's a do, and it's actually an upward spiral. As we expand, we create a better world. As the world gets to be a better place, we can expand more and quickly, and we just go up and up and up and up and up. It's like that. You've ever seen those staircases that no one can explain? That are it's like an Escher print, if you know what I'm talking about. If you're as old as me, and he would draw these perpetual staircase where you would go down and around the corner, and you come up, and you're right back where you started, but you swear you went down. It's very crazy. So anyway, that's kind of how I see this spirally timeline. So it's a constant, helping each other. So the world we create, there is only nourishing food. That's another thing I wanted to say is, really what's going to happen with the world is as we create this new world that we're now in, as we continue to create it, it is going to be more and more nourishing food, really high vibrational food for our bodies. And so that doesn't just mean fruits and vegetables and nuts. It does also mean humanely raised, responsibly raised meat and animal products. Not everybody is going to resonate with that, and that's fine. But what's going to happen with the people who need their McDonald's every day is the new reality is literally just going to be kind of, and it's just kind of unfold around them, and they will become part of it, and it'll be like they never knew anything different. And again, I feel like that's a small percentage of the population, but that's these people who are just here to experience. They didn't want to be a way shower. They didn't want to be a light worker. They didn't want to really have this intense existence. They just came to kind of experience this evolution and to feel it and to go along with it. And so they're really just going to kind of find themselves in this new reality, but it'll be like that's how it's always been in their minds. So I feel that that's what's going to happen with this, this percentage of the population that is not really aware of everything that's going on, and that's fine. Let's see. So we are no longer a slave race trapped, imprisoned in a false AI matrix. We are the creator race. All right, and we're creating this new world. As we speak, it is being created. The more we come together, the more we raise our consciousness, the more we become aware of everything that is going on. So let's see. That's pretty much all my notes. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The food thing just kind of made me laugh because I was, like I said, people that I've been watching for a while or following for a while are now kind of splitting into these two camps. And I'm like, well, like what resonates with me? Like, I really respect this guy, but he's saying you have to be a vegan to ascend, and I don't resonate with that. I really respect this young lady, but she's saying that if you swear, you're not going to ascend because that's low vibrational words and it's meant to lower your vibration. And I don't resonate with that. I'm going to use those words in a positive way. I'm going to use those words to enhance my journey. Okay, so whatever resonates with you, do it. If I don't resonate with you, find somebody who does. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's okay. I still love you. I still want you to ascend. I still want everybody to come along for the ride because it's going to be fabulous. And I mean, it already is. And of course, we're learning more and more to live in the moment, that because the moment is really all we have, right? And of course, there can be partly, this thing as a parent, and even not as a non-parent, we want a better world for the next generations. While it's beautiful to focus on that too, we have to focus on just creating in the moment toward that goal, right? Toward this better world for the next generations. And as they see us doing it, they're going to grow up seeing us doing it, and they're going to know how to do it. And a lot of them are being born now instinctually knowing how to do it. So we're really we're the transition generation, really. And of course, it's not just one generation, but it's like three. It's like three waves. And so we're this transition phase. And then the kids coming in now are just going to know how to take the reins when it's time. They won't have to be taught. So, okay, 35 minutes. I think that's long enough. Thank you for listening again. If you have already subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate it. If this resonates with you, share it. Maybe somebody else needs to hear it too. Whatevs. I do it for me. I do it to reach the people that it's supposed to reach. I do it to give people hope because I have been through a lot, and I will tell you, I never thought I'd make it this far. I never thought I'd get to where I'm at. And yes, these energies are intense and I'm feeling it. And I needed to nap the other day, but we see you, babe. Nice try. Almost done. There are 6 people in this house. I'm amazed it took that long. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Wendy Lou, Parenting Through Ascension. If you're watching on Higher Self or anywhere else, I don't know where else you would be watching, but consider checking out my other videos and subscribing. And like I said, I've got, I don't even know, 70 videos out there now. And it would probably be really interesting to watch from beginning to end just how I have evolved since in the last year. So I'm a totally different person. I swear I feel like a totally different person every day. So hang in there. We're all in this together. Like I said, these are intense, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. We're learning how to, like I have a friend who says, lean the fuck into it. Lean in. Don't try to stay away from it. Don't try to avoid it. Jump in. Jump in, lean in, and just, learn how to manipulate it. Learn how to control it. Learn how to be the creator instead of the victim. Okay, because we're not victims anymore. That is old paradigm. Let it go. All right, I love you all. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.